Good evening, everyone. How's it going? Dan here with Plant Abundance. So check this out. This is a little pepper patch. We've got some serrano peppers, some jalapenos, and we've got some habaneros that have yet to start to fruit. But check out the soil over here. I mean, just rough stuff. Cracks going down, super dry. Here's some weeds growing up here. Now, I've really done very little watering this year in my garden intentionally, because that's part of the whole idea behind developing a food forest, is to have it be as self-sustaining as possible. And one of the most powerful techniques that I use in my garden is mulching, whether it be wood chips, grass clippings, leaves, straw, whatever you got on hand. But something that's often overlooked is the chop and drop method. Now, I don't have any extra wood chips on hand right now, but if I did, because these plants have matured to this level, this would be a great time to put 4 to 5 inches of wood chips around these pepper plants. I try to avoid doing wood chips around my annuals and vegetables while they're still getting going, but once they get up about 6 to 8 inches tall, you're good to start putting down the wood chips. What I do have on hand, however, is some comfrey, as well as some weeds that are growing out of the ground. Now, the comfrey is a cut and come again perennial plant, meaning you can go ahead and chop it all the way to the ground level, and this will flush out with new growth several times throughout the growing season. And that's usually how I take care of the plant. I leave a few leaves there for photosynthesis, and this will flush back out really quick. And now I've got this wonderful mulch material. The comfrey leaf breaks down very quickly, and because the comfrey plant has a very deep taproot that goes down several feet, it mines up nutrients and minerals that other plants can't access. So these leaves not only are going to help to shade and protect the soil from the exposure from the sun, but it's also going to break down and release those nutrients and minerals to the plants and help feed them. So what I like to do is just kind of break the comfrey down just a little bit. It just helps the water, if you do any watering or it rains, to sift through the leaves versus if you just do a big pile of just flat leaves, just kind of crisscrossing the leaves, breaking them down a bit. And this is how my technique has evolved over the years. I used to use a Japanese sickle. Sometimes I use my hori-hori, but a lot of times nowadays I just grab them with my gloves and do as I'm sharing with you today. So I'm going to harvest some more comfrey here. Any weeds growing in here, I can pull up and just drop right in place. And what else do I have growing around here that I might be able to use? Well, here in the pathway, I've got another weed coming up, the mallow plant. The mallow has edible qualities, but I don't really need this patch here, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it up and use it as some mulch. Over here we got some amaranth coming up. We can use that. Some more mallow. So as you can see, all these weeds are actually a useful thing for me here in the food forest. And it doesn't matter to me if any of these seeds from the amaranth or the purslane or mallow come up in this area, because what I'm going to end up doing is sheet mulching this area after the season is over, and all of this material that I'm now laying down as a mulch layer is going to break down, feed the soil, and become part of the soil profile. And the sheet mulch is going to stop any of those weeds from coming up unless I want them to come up. I'm a fan of the purslane, the amaranth, even the mallow, so if anything does end up popping up, it doesn't bother me one bit. Let me gather some more comfrey here. Even got some volunteer tree collards over here. I can lay down. Borage also makes a wonderful chop and drop plant. I've got plenty of this stuff growing. This one's right in the pathway. I'll just pull that out real quick. So now look at what we got going over here. The pepper bed is completely mulched. And this is very similar to what you might see in a forest setting when you see mulch around plants. Just all sorts of different plants and weeds growing up, helping to mulch the soil. And I guarantee you this is going to make a positive impact on the growth of these pepper plants. I am going to give it a bit of water at this point. Well, hello there, sir. You cooling down now? It was 100 degrees today, wasn't it? So look what we accomplished in just a few minutes. We got a nice mulch layer put around these plants to help protect the soil from the harsh sun throughout the summer heat. We also cleared some of the pathways by pulling up some of these weeds that were growing there. And by chopping down the comfrey, we're utilizing the plant as it's supposed to be used in a food forest design by chopping it and letting it grow back. So we're utilizing everything that we have on hand. This is called a closed loop system. Now, what would a pepper patch video be without me at least harvesting one of these peppers and giving it a go for you? I love me some peppers, especially Serrano, one of my favorites. That's a mild one. Sometimes they're hot, sometimes they're not. Fresh. Alright guys, well thanks for joining me on today's video. Hope you're all having a wonderful evening. Until next time, this is Dan from plantabundance.com. Take care, I'll be talking to you again soon.